everyone, welcome back.
If you're new, thanks for joining. And don't forget to subscribe so you can keep improving your English with everyday conversations and useful topics.
All right, let's jump in. Today, we're talking about something that makes a lot of people uncomfortable.
Presentations.
Yes, the moment a teacher or manager announces that you have to speak in front of people, many students suddenly feel nervous.
And to be fair, it's not only students. Even native English speakers feel worried before they give a presentation.
I remember when I was younger, the teacher would say, "Next week we will give presentations," and my brain would immediately think, "Oh no, I don't want to stand in front of everyone."
Right. Your chest feels tight. You imagine people staring at you. You're afraid you'll forget your words or make a mistake.
And the funny thing is, most people in the room feel the same way. They don't want to present either.
So let's talk about why this feeling happens. When you speak in front of people, you are not just using language, you're also showing yourself. You're visible, and that can feel scary.
But here's what students need to remember. People who give presentations confidently are not born that way. They build that confidence over time.
Even professional speakers have moments of fear. The difference is they know how to prepare, they know how to practice, and they know how to present clearly.
And that's what we want to help you with today. By the end of this episode, we want you to think, "Yes, I can do this."
Not because you suddenly became a perfect speaker, but because you learned how to control the process.
Speaking of process, the first thing that helps is preparation. If you prepare, you already win half the battle.
Preparation gives you a map. Without a map, you walk into your presentation and feel lost. With a map, you know where to go, and the audience can follow you.
Let's start with the most basic part. Know your topic. And I don't mean copy some sentences from the internet and hope for the best.
I've seen people do that. They take information from a website word for word. Then on presentation day, they read it out loud like a robot.
And you can tell they don't really understand what they're saying. Their voice sounds flat and their face looks confused.
Understanding your topic means you can explain it in your own words. For example, if your topic is renewable energy, don't just memorize numbers about wind farms or solar panels.
Numbers are helpful, but they're not enough. Ask yourself, can I explain this topic to a friend who knows nothing about science?
If the answer is yes, then you're ready. If the answer is no, you need a bit more preparation.
The next part of preparation is structure. A good presentation has a beginning, a middle, and an end. Without structure, your audience gets lost.
Think about a story. If someone tells a story with no order, you get confused. But if they explain things step by step, you relax because you know where the story is going.
Same with presentations. In the beginning, you introduce yourself and your topic. In the middle, you present your main points. 2 or 3 points is usually enough for most class presentations.
Then at the end, you give a short summary and a polite thank you. Simple and clear.
For example, if I were presenting about technology in education, I could start like this. My name is Anna. Today, I will talk about technology in education. First, I will explain what it means. Second, I will share some benefits. Third, I will share some concerns. Finally, I will give my opinion.
Right away, the audience knows the plan. And when they know the plan, they listen more easily.
Another important part of preparation is making notes, but not full sentences.
Huge mistake a lot of students make. They write down every single word they want to say. Then on the day, they read directly from the paper.
And it sounds terrible. The voice loses emotion. There's no connection with the audience.
Instead, write short notes or keywords, just enough to remind you what to talk about.
For example, instead of writing, "Today I will talk about the advantages and disadvantages of online learning," you can just write "Online learning, pros and cons."
Notes are reminders. You are the speaker. The power is in your voice, your feelings, and the connection with the audience.
And with preparation, you already make that process easier.
But preparation alone isn't enough. There's another step that changes everything, and that's practice.
So let's talk about practice. Preparation gives you your content, but practice gives you confidence. A lot of people prepare their information and then stop. Then on the day of the presentation, they speak for the first time. And of course, they feel nervous because their body and voice didn't have a chance to warm up.
Practicing out loud is the first thing. Don't just read silently in your head. The classroom is not inside your head. It's a real place with real people. You need to train your mouth, your tongue, and your breathing.
Try this. Stand in front of a mirror and say your presentation. Pay attention to your face. Do you look scared? Do you look angry? Try to smile. Even a small smile makes a big difference.
Also, watch your body. Some people keep their arms stiff like wooden sticks. Others put their hands in their pockets and hide. Try to relax. Let your arms rest naturally. When your body relaxes, your voice becomes more open.
Another good method is recording yourself on your phone. When you listen to the recording, try to be honest. Do you speak too fast? Do you sound clear? Do you rush at the beginning and then slow down at the end? A recording is great because you become your own teacher.
And sometimes it's surprising. You think you're slow, but actually you were too fast. Or you think you were loud, but actually you sounded very quiet. These discoveries help a lot before the real presentation.
There's another technique called shadowing. This is one of my favorites for language learners. Shadowing means you listen to a good speaker and then copy their speaking rhythm and tone. You can find short presentations online, for example, a short TED Talk or a short educational speech.
The key is to choose something short. Play 10 or 15 seconds. Pause, then repeat. Don't worry if you don't catch every word. Focus on rhythm, tone, and pronunciation. Shadowing trains your tongue and helps your English sound more natural.
Practicing with another person is also useful. Ask a friend or family member to listen to your presentation. Tell them to ask you 1 or 2 questions at the end. This simulates what happens in a real classroom. And if you don't know the answer to a question, here's a useful habit. Say, "That's a good question. I don't know now, but I will check later."
That sentence shows maturity. Teachers appreciate that. They don't expect you to know everything. They just want to see that you can communicate.
Now, here's the thing about confidence. People think confidence appears like magic, but confidence is built through repetition. Every time you practice, your brain becomes less scared.
It's like playing an instrument. The first time you play guitar, your fingers hurt and everything feels awkward. But after you repeat the same chords many times, suddenly it feels normal.
Presentations work the same way. The more you practice, the less mysterious it feels. The less mysterious it feels, the more comfortable you become. And when you feel comfortable, your audience feels comfortable too.
Something else that students don't realize is that practicing helps you remember without memorizing. Memorizing full sentences is dangerous because if you forget one word, your brain freezes.
Yes, and once you freeze, it becomes hard to continue because you don't remember what comes next.
But when you practice using key words, you don't depend on exact phrasing. You just follow your ideas. So even if you forget one phrase, you can still keep going.
By the way, practicing doesn't mean you must practice for hours. Even 10 minutes a day makes a huge difference if you do it consistently.
And choose different practice environments. Try practicing in the mirror, then try practicing in your living room, then try practicing while standing at your desk. Changing environments helps your brain adapt.
And now that we understand preparation and practice, we can talk about the actual presentation day, because the day itself brings new challenges.
Yes, some students feel fine at home, but the moment they step into the classroom and see eyes looking at them, their heart starts beating faster.
So what do we do with that? We learn techniques that calm the body and guide the mind.
And that part is actually encouraging, because if you know what to do, the day becomes much less scary.
So let's move forward and talk about the big presentation day. Let's imagine it's the day of your presentation. You walk into the classroom. People are sitting at their desks, some are talking, some are looking at their phones, and suddenly you feel nervous.
That's normal. When people look at you, your brain thinks something important is happening. Your heartbeat speeds up, your hands feel cold, and your mouth feels dry.
Some students think this feeling means they are not good at presenting, but that isn't true. Even trained speakers feel nervous before they speak. The difference is they know what to do with that energy.
One simple technique is breathing. Before you start, take one slow, deep breath. Inhale slowly through your nose, then exhale slowly through your mouth. It sends a message to your body that things are safe.
Another technique is your posture. Stand tall with your feet apart. Don't hide behind the desk or look at the floor. When your body stands strong, your mind starts to feel stronger too.
And remember to smile. A smile is powerful. It helps your classmates relax, and it makes you look more confident, even if your stomach is full of butterflies.
After that, greet your audience. You don't need anything complicated. Something like, "Good morning, everyone. My name is Anna. Today I will talk about," can be enough. Simple language helps both you and the listener.
Here's another important thing. Many students try to use big, advanced vocabulary to impress the teacher, but in many cases, simple English is better. Simple English is clear and confident.
For example, instead of saying, "The consequences of modern technology are multifaceted and potentially detrimental," you could say, "Modern technology has many effects, some good and some bad."
Much easier, much clearer, and nobody gets lost.
Now, when you speak, remember that presentations are not only about words. Your body language plays a big role. Try to look at your audience, not at the floor, not only at your notes.
If direct eye contact feels uncomfortable, you can look just above people's heads. From the audience's perspective, it looks like eye contact, but it feels easier for you.
Also, pay attention to your hands. Don't put them in your pockets or cross your arms tightly. If you don't know what to do with them, let them rest by your sides and move them naturally when you speak.
And now we get to your voice. Voice control is important. Nervous students often speak too fast, like a train rushing from station to station. When you speak too fast, the audience doesn't have time to understand.
So slow down. Make pauses. Pauses give your brain time to think and give the audience time to follow. They also make you sound more confident.
Changing your tone helps too. If you speak in one flat voice from beginning to end, people get bored. Show a bit of energy. If something is important, speak a little louder. If something is serious, slow down and lower your tone slightly.
After speaking for a few minutes, something else might happen. You start to feel comfortable. The longer you talk, the more your nerves calm down because your body realizes nothing bad is happening.
And that's a great moment. A lot of students don't reach that moment because they panic at the very beginning. But if you breathe, stand tall, smile, and start simply, you often reach that comfortable point faster.
Another challenge during the presentation day is questions from the audience. Sometimes teachers ask students to answer questions at the end. This can feel scary, but it's actually a chance to show confidence.
And confidence doesn't mean knowing everything. Confidence means communicating with honesty. If you know the answer, you answer. If you don't know, you can say, "I'm not sure about that, but I can check later."
That sentence shows respect and maturity. No teacher expects you to be an encyclopedia.
So now we've talked about the day of the presentation. We managed the fear, we controlled the voice, and we used simple English. Now it's time to talk about something that makes your presentation even better: delivery skills.
Delivery skills take you from okay to impressive. These are the small details that make your presentation feel professional and easy to follow. They are not about memorizing fancy phrases. They are about connecting with your audience.
One thing that surprises many students is how much delivery depends on energy. If you speak with low energy, even the most interesting topic becomes boring. But if you speak with a little energy and warmth, even simple topics feel more engaging.
And energy doesn't mean shouting or jumping. It means sounding like you care. If you care, the audience can feel it.
Voice variation is part of that. Try not to speak in one tone from beginning to end. If you want to highlight something important, make your voice slightly louder or slightly slower. If you want to show contrast, change the rhythm a bit.
For example, imagine you're presenting about the benefits of exercise. You could say, exercise helps reduce stress, it improves mood, and it keeps your body healthy. And if you say it with slight variation, it sounds lively instead of flat.
Another delivery skill is pacing. Pacing means how fast or slow you speak. Nervous speakers rush. Experienced speakers pace themselves. They know when to pause.
Pauses might feel strange to you when you're speaking, but they feel natural to the audience. A pause gives space. It gives room to think. It also gives you time to breathe.
Eye contact is another tool. It builds trust. It shows that you are talking to people, not just reading at them. And we already talked about how looking slightly above people's heads is a good trick if direct eye contact feels intense.
Then there are gestures. Gestures are the movements of your hands and arms. Natural gestures help guide attention. They emphasize key points. But remember, gestures should not be exaggerated. Keep them simple and relaxed.
There's also the matter of posture. When you stand straight with open shoulders, your voice comes out stronger. When you shrink your body, your voice becomes smaller and you sound less confident.
Delivery skills also include clarity. Clarity is not about sounding perfect. It's about making sure your audience understands you. If they understand you easily, they enjoy listening more.
For language learners, clarity often improves when they relax. When you're nervous, your mouth becomes tight and your speech gets less clear. Breathing helps reduce that tension.
Another helpful idea is imagining that you're explaining your topic to a friend who is interested and supportive. This mental picture reduces pressure and helps you talk naturally.
Many students forget about emotion. Presentations are not just data and facts. Even if your topic is simple, there's always a reason people should care. If you show that reason through your tone, your audience stays with you.
And here's something students don't hear often. Delivery skills are practiced, not born. You learn them by speaking more often. Each time you present, you learn a little more about your body, your voice, and your style.
And the more familiar you become with speaking, the less you worry about how you look or sound. You start focusing on the message, and that's when delivery improves.
Delivering your message well is the whole point of a presentation. You're not there to show perfect grammar or perfect vocabulary. You're there to communicate ideas clearly and confidently.
And once you feel comfortable with delivery, you're ready for something students love: useful phrases. Phrases make presentations easier because you don't have to invent everything yourself.
Yes, phrases act like tools. They help you start, connect ideas, give examples, and finish smoothly. And after learning some common phrases, you start to build your own style over time.
And soon, instead of thinking, "Oh no, I have to present," you start thinking, "Okay, I know what to do." That shift is powerful.
So let's talk about those phrases now. Phrases that help you introduce your topic, move between points, give examples, and conclude confidently.
All right, let's look at some useful phrases you can use in presentations. These phrases make your speech sound organized and smooth. You don't have to think too much about how to start or how to move between points because the phrases guide you.
Let's start with opening phrases. When you begin, you want to greet your audience, introduce yourself, and introduce your topic. Something simple works well. For example, you can say, "Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you for listening." Or, "Today I would like to talk about..."
Notice how those phrases are polite and clear. They create a friendly beginning, and they show your topic right away. No need for complicated introductions.
To explain the plan of your presentation, you can say, my presentation has 3 parts. First, I will talk about. Second, I will explain. And finally, I will...
That sentence prepares the audience. They know what to expect, and they can follow your structure easily.
Now, during the presentation, you need phrases to move from one point to the next. For example, now let's move to the second point, or next I will explain. These small transitions keep your ideas connected.
And when you want to give examples, you can say, for example, or one clear example is. These are simple but powerful phrases because examples make ideas real and easier to understand.
If you want to present 2 sides of something, you can use phrases like on one hand and on the other hand. These help you show balance, especially if the topic has both benefits and problems.
And when you're ready to finish, you need conclusion phrases. You can say, to summarize, or in conclusion, my opinion is. After that, you can add a final, thank you very much for listening. That ending shows respect, and it closes your presentation politely.
These phrases are like tools. If you use them, your presentation becomes organized, and the audience can follow you without confusion.
And for language learners, there's another benefit. When you have useful phrases ready, your brain relaxes. You don't have to invent everything on the spot. You already have building blocks to work with.
After learning these phrases, it's a good idea to practice using them in different topics. For example, imagine your topic is environmental protection. You could say, today I would like to talk about environmental protection. My presentation has 3 parts. First, I will explain what it means. Second, I will talk about some benefits. And finally, I will share my opinion.
That sounds clean and confident, and it works for almost any classroom topic. You just change the details depending on what you're talking about.
Now, before we wrap up, there's one more thing we want to leave you with, and that's motivation. Confidence is not something you magically receive. It grows with every small step.
Every time you prepare your topic, every time you practice in the mirror, every time you present in front of others, you build a little more strength. And that strength stays with you, both in school and in life.
Presentations are not just for classrooms. You will present ideas in interviews, in meetings, in group discussions, and sometimes even in everyday conversations. So every bit of practice helps your future self.
Remember that communication is one of the most valuable skills you can learn. It helps you share ideas, influence people, and express yourself.
And if you're nervous, it means you care. Nervousness doesn't mean you're bad at speaking. It means you want to do well. And that desire is a good sign.
So when someone tells you, next week you will give a presentation, instead of thinking, I hate this, try thinking, I know what to do. That small change makes a big difference.
And the more you believe I can do this, the more your body starts to agree. Over time, presentations become less frightening and more exciting.
And that brings us to the end of our useful phrases and delivery section. Now it's time for a final wrap-up.
Yes, let's summarize everything we learned today and close out our episode with some encouragement.
So, today we talked about how to give a clear and confident presentation in English. We started with the reality that presentations make many students nervous, even adults and native speakers. That nervous feeling is normal. It doesn't mean you're a bad speaker. It just means your brain wants to protect you.
Then we looked at preparation. When you prepare, you understand your topic, build a simple structure, and make short notes instead of full sentences. Preparation gives you your map, and with a map, both you and the audience know where you're going.
After that, we talked about practice. Practice gives you confidence. Practicing out loud, using a mirror, recording yourself, shadowing good speakers, and practicing with friends can make a huge difference. Confidence isn't magic. It's built one small step at a time.
Then we imagined the presentation day. We talked about breathing, posture, smiling, and using simple English. We mentioned how voice, pauses, tone, and body language help you connect with the audience and stay calm.
Then we explored delivery skills, energy, pacing, eye contact, gestures, posture, clarity, and emotion all help make your presentation interesting and easy to follow. Delivery skills are not about being perfect. They're about caring and communicating.
After that, we looked at useful phrases. Opening phrases, transition phrases, example phrases, and conclusion phrases help you sound organized. They take pressure off your brain and guide your audience through your ideas step by step.
And when you put all these pieces together, preparation, practice, confidence on the day, delivery skills, and useful phrases, you become a stronger speaker. Even if your English level is still developing, you can give a clear and impressive presentation.
The most important part is believing that you can improve. Confidence grows slowly. Every presentation you give makes you better. Every mistake is just part of learning. Nobody becomes a great speaker overnight.
And remember, presentations are not only for school. Later in life, you'll present ideas in job interviews, meetings, proposals, and group discussions. So learning this skill now is a gift to your future self.
If you're listening to this and thinking, I still feel nervous, that's okay. Nervousness shows that you want to do well. Keep practicing, keep learning, and keep showing up.
We hope this episode helps you feel more prepared and more motivated for your next presentation, whether it's an English class, at university, or anywhere else.
Thank you so much for listening today. And if you enjoyed this episode, make sure you subscribe so you don't miss future lessons and conversations.
Take care, everyone. Keep practicing, keep improving, and we'll see you in the next one.